Well, welcome back to This Garden Bliss. It's been a really slow start to spring. Cold nights and very cool mornings. Just stunting the growth of everything we put in the greenhouse here. Let's see how it's going.
The Bramantia came from the studio into the greenhouse about 2 weeks ago. The geranium is doing exceptionally well. It's budded up. There's no heat on at this time, no grow lights. The sage from last year that we've overwintered in the greenhouse is doing quite well. The rosemary is new. It's not an overwintered rosemary. I haven't been very successful in making that happen. But here are some new gems that we're going to put in the garden this year. However, everything is in waiting mode right now. And because I don't want them to dry out, we haven't turned the heat on.
Mm-mm.
And I'm stunned to see the geranium with buds on it and ready to bloom.
And we overwintered that.
Yes,
Yeah,
in the studio, which
right.
is only 5 degrees warmer than outside. It didn't drop its leaves and it's doing exceptionally well. So now these are a part of our color palette for the summer, shade loving and sun loving impatiens. And they're also in a holding zone here, waiting for May 24th to come by, which is our safe time to plant in Ontario. And we've had a slow, cold spring. So I'm excited about putting some punch into the garden in the front and in the back of the gardens this year for 2025. Now on this side, we have some more plants that we've overwintered for our spillers, but this is our beautiful white impatiens that we picked up this year. These will be the spillers that have been wintered over, and they come back beautifully. So here's the haul,
Mm-hmm.
our spring haul waiting. I don't want them to dry out, so I've been very reluctant to turn the heat on. We also have some petunias, and those petunias will be put in the front containers where we have the hot, warmer temperatures in the morning for a color palette that it has a little bit more spice to it.
Even without the heat on, I'm finding I always need to water them and keep them moist.
Yes, but it's not drying them out as that we would if it was the heat was on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's so much for the greenhouse. Back to the garden studio.
Today, I'm really happy to be in the studio planting up these canna lily because the weather has changed again. It's cool, it's then warm, it's windy. So today, I'm soaking some dahlias, also soaking some canna lily that had really dried up, but I can see that there's some life to it. So I've had it soaking for about 2 days. And I've never really soaked the dahlias before, but they looked a little bit dry and needed some hydration. So I decided to soak a few to experiment how they would germinate, not germinate, but if they would bounce back and start to sprout faster for me. And here are some of the dahlias that are overwintered from last year.
Wow,
They're
you
not,
look a
yeah,
monster.
they're not new at all. But I've grown such a collection that I've given some away, and there's great pleasure in sharing your treasures from the garden with friends and family and get their hands in the dirt and teach them a little bit about these summer bulbs that can bloom in the garden right into November. So,
And the
here,
recipients learn how to do all this.
yeah, they're very excited about learning about summer bulbs. And yes, I will explain you need to take them out of the ground. If you want a shorter route to this, you can plant them in containers and keep them in containers for the summer as well. But I've learned from fellow gardeners about how to take care of these bulbs, and it's nice to have them for the next season. So I have in one plate, I have a lot of tubers for dahlias, but I also have a plate of canna lilies. And I'm going to pot them up today and get them ready, get them in the greenhouse um, to get started. I know I will transition everything out of the greenhouse because these will be blooming in the garden all the way into November. So they will have their season in the greenhouse when I move and transition everything that's there currently out. So I'm just getting them potted up for now.
So if you're a lazy gardener and you leave the tuber in the ground, does it just rot and die?
Depends on your zone. And that's the answer to that question. In our zone, they will not survive the winter
Mm,
unless you have a microclimate in a corner somewhere.
mm,
But if you are zone 7 in England, a lot of my friends and family, they do not need to take their dahlias out of the ground. But us in Ontario here, our cold winters, we need to get our cannas out and look at this beauty. Like, who wouldn't want to save that for the next year?
It does seem like a lot of work, but that's why you're a garden lover.
That's why I do what I do.
Hmm.
You really need to love to have your hands in the dirt.
Yes.
I love to save these bulbs, and you save yourself a lot of money because you are you know wintering over, and then you'll have abundance of diversity in your garden and
Mm.
lots of color for the next season.
Well, somebody spelt dahlia wrong, but I didn't pass the spelling bee that year, I guess.
Well, I'm grateful for all that assistance and help that you
Oh, the other way.
gave
There we
me.
go.
So I'm not going to judge
No.
you on the spelling of the dahlia, but it was great to have you um, assistant.
Yeah, well, but the wooden knives really came in handy. I never thought of that.
Well, it beats plastic, and I'll tell you
Yeah,
why.
yeah,
Because it
right.
will break down into the soil, and I'll just keep putting it deeper and deeper in the soil as it breaks down, and then it's natural, it's organic.
Hmm.
So this is what I'm working with.
And these went right out to the greenhouse.
It will when there's room. Right
Ah,
now,
oh,
I'm
this,
waiting for May 24th
right,
to happen,
right.
and then everything that we have in there will come out, and the dahlias will go in, and there's a transition. This is fun for me, and I know a lot of people will be saying, oh, this is a lot of work, but for me it's fun.
So the big question remains when to turn the heat on because you have heat in the greenhouse anyway.
I'm gonna put it on when I put the dahlias in. I just don't want the delicate annuals to be heated up. They're already blooming, they're already comfortable, but I'm gonna need the heat for cannas. The cannas love heat.
Hmm. Well, we've decided to develop our own natural fertilizer with the kitchen waste with an old blender we have coming up. And look at that. Oh, pat, pat, pat away. So we took this old blender that we weren't using anymore and decided to put our kitchen compost in to make our own fertilizers with bananas and orange peels and eggs and stuff. Egg shells, I should say.
Eggshells and coffee ground.
Yeah.
Now, you said fertilizer. I say supplement.
Oh, supplement. Okay.
It's a supplement because my roses love potassium.
I didn't know that.
I read it somewhere in one of my rose book. But anyway, so the banana peel I'm putting in today, and I'm mixing up a nice little smoothie for my Eden rose.
Mm. How much are they paying us to do that?
Oh, I don't know. But, I mean, we're repurposing the old blender. We're reusing the compost. I would say we're speeding up and advancing the process of decomposing
Right.
all your compost. I can have this instantly. And my rose can be fed. I'm hoping to see the results next year. No, I'm not going to see the results this year.
Really?
Because the work that I did last year, I'm going to see that effort this year in the display of the Eden Rose. Now I'm putting this supplement together. And it goes right directly on the garden bed, the roots of the plants. And it's like a compost, but you're fast tracking that process. You add water, you can add a little bit of hydrogen peroxide, and that gives it that extra oxygen, and you're ready to feed your plants. So here we are, the baby rose that rabbits ate down to the nub last year. It's coming back, and the big rose, it's has its canes on the arbor, and it's doing well. Now, it looks better currently than what it did a few weeks ago, but this is the goal.
This is what we're shooting for.
This is what we're shooting for. This is how it was years ago, and we will show you what it looks like in June. It's really coming back to its original form.
And in the winter, we had the passion flower old vines. Instead of taking it down, it protected it.
Well, in this display, the rose actually was on a trellis. Now it's on an arbor.
Even though we've had a very, very rough start to our spring with cold nights and days, I do love the tulips. And I've just learned that there are perennial tulips and annual tulips.
Yeah, and most of the tulips that we have in the garden, they're Darwin series of tulips, and they return year after year.
They're not something we have to dig up every year, are they?
No, they just naturalize in the garden, and I don't need to take them up if I do not want to, unless I need the space to plant like a summer bulb.
Right.
Then I take them up, put them in a basket, let them dry out for the summer with the foliage on them, and then transplant them back into the garden in the fall after I've removed the dahlias.
But they get smaller every succeeding year after that?
Not the Darwins. The Chinatown tulip, for instance, I had at least a dozen or more of China tulips, but today I only see one. So that's the difference between the regular tulips and the Darwin. Now, this is new. I don't usually put red, but this year I put red in the front, and it looks stunning. These were the majestic tulips. They look like a peony, and they're stunning. The red was stunning, and so that was new. I also noticed that when I trimmed the tulip down, there were another succession of blooms in between.
Oh, we do have lots of lily of the valley.
I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it because it's beautiful. It has a beautiful scent and bloom, but it spreads.
It does spread.
In between the hostas, and I have to be brutal to limit how much of those we have.
Well, we decided to have a limited color palette on the northern border this year.
Yes, meaning that we wanted a calm, quiet display of cool colors, of impatiens that do very well on the north courtyard, whites for that quiet, serene,
Calm.
peaceful, calm appeal.
And the water burbling fountain will just add to that ambiance
and relaxation.
So I understand you're going to divide these impatiens.
Yes. In this planter, there is 3 main plants.
I love the white. I really do. Well, I stand corrected. It is indeed a very soft pink.
And it has little frills around the edges. I have never seen a New Guinea impatient such as this one. So I just had to bring it home. And we will have on the other side of the north courtyard, which is in the sun, we will have pops of spicy colors on the opposite side.
That'll really pull your eye in.
But that's the other garden border that we've been working on. So we've decided to do the front yard and the backyard with spicy warm colors, and the north courtyard garden and borders with the cool colors.
What I've learned from the hanging plants is that they don't have to be hanging plants. I've learned the knack of taking off the little plastic things that hold them to the tray so that Claudia can take them out and cut them up and divide them up. The color palette and the white really stands out at night. So we're just going to keep a repetitive color theme with hanging plants that got taken out of their hanging baskets. You don't need to have them as hanging baskets.
Yes, and each basket have 3 plants at least in them. So all those baskets can go a long way in actually outfitting the entire garden, the front, side, and back. So we look forward to that June tour when
Right.
we've got it all done.
Well, it won't look this. This is just staged here so that we could show it before we plant it, when all the hard work starts.
Yes. Now, most of the time we have the ferns as a thriller, or we have it around the waterfall. So that's our go-to for greenery every year as well.
And around the waterfall, the ferns play a big role to make it look like a natural place setting with all the other plants that you put there, like right out of the forest.
Mm-hmm. And so we have, again, more impatiens, but the spicier color with the hot magentas and oranges, and they will be in the front containers. Now, this is our tree peony that blooms religiously every May.
Even though it's a little late.
They blooms and the buds are ready to open. However, they're hesitating to open. It's May 21st today, and they're not ready because it's still too cold outside. This is what she will look like when she does decide to open.
I love this color.
This is our Anapida in the front garden border. Beautiful plant. It's a pollinator's haven. It's the only thing that will bloom religiously, whether it's hot or cold or snowing. It will continue to bloom for you.
And having said all that, we hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll be sure to send out the June video very soon. Thank you for watching.